Good evening, everyone. So we are recording this video for the purpose of EM course participants. Today we have come to RK Mission Shivanahalli for the fieldwork. However, it's been raining like anything since afternoon, and the participants have not been able to come for the fieldwork. So we three are here, myself, Rijulal, GR Rao sir, and Chaturved, who is shooting the video. So we three are doing the fieldwork for your sake and explaining whatever we find here in this rain, so that you can learn something from the fieldwork and how the experience would be. And maybe when the rain is not there in the IISc campus itself, you can do a fieldwork trial run. Okay, so we start here with Rao sir, because right now it's raining and we don't see much of birds and butterflies. In between, if we see, we will definitely be showing you those things. But there are abundance of floral diversity here. So I hand over the session to GR Rao sir, who will be explaining you about some interesting facts about the trees and the plants. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, and welcome you all in this beautiful rain. And we are in the field work, and it is really we are very happy to do the field work actually. And here I really want to say one thing very important. When you are identifying trees, first we have to know whether that is a evergreen tree or a deciduous tree. So that is very important. So how we are going to do that in the field condition actually? So because many trees will be very huge actually, and we don't get the leaves. So what we have to do is we have to check with the bark. So when we are checking with the bark, there are two types of bark. One is the soft bark and one is the hard bark. And here you can see this is the hard bark. So the hard bark, you can see the fissures here, and you can see the very rough pattern of the bark. And so this is the hard bark. And of course the tree is the teak tree, Tectona grandis, so which grows in more or less marsh deciduous forest. So and another tree, so which is a soft bark actually, as you can see here. This is a soft bark. So wherein actually what happens, the soft bark, so which normally in many of the forests, so what you can get from that is actually the evergreen trees, they have the normally the soft bark. The reason behind that is that the evergreen forest normally they don't have much of the fire and many of the disturbance like that, due to which what it makes is the bark will be more or less soft. Either you take the mango or it will the many of the ficus species, many of the other evergreen bitter species, they see that the bark will be very smooth. And many of the deciduous forest actually where there will be a lot of fire, and because of the many of the other disturbances, what happens, the bark will be very rough due to that. So this is actually the first thing which we have to realize, to looking at the bark, whether we can distinguish between the evergreen tree and the deciduous tree. So rough bark, deciduous tree, and soft bark, it will be the evergreen tree. So that is the first technique of identification. So we can just move on, and we can just see on. And this tree actually, as you can see, you can, I hope many people identified, this is the teak tree, and it normally comes in deciduous forest, and you can see the bark which is also rough. So with that, actually the one identification feature you learned is that actually this is a tree of deciduous forest. Whereas actually, as you can see, as we move on, we will just move on actually. So a little bit. This is Siva pentandra, and as you can see, this tree becomes very huge. And here you can see the leaves. Here the leaves you can see, it is the leaf, as you can see, it is more or less palmately compound leaves. And I told you about two things, that is simple leaves and compound leaves. So this is palmately compound leaves, and this tree Siva pentandra goes to very huge. So this is palm like, the leaves are palm like, so this palm like compound leaves. And the trees, this Siva pentandra goes so huge that once it becomes so huge, like 5 to 10 people have to embrace the tree. So that huge it becomes. But our Indian tree actually is similar to the Siva pentandra, belonging to the family Bombaceae, is the Bombax Siva. In Kannada, it is called as the Burga. And Bombax Siva is one of the very huge trees in the most of the fringes of the forest. And that Bombax Siva also hosts many of the bird species. So, and that is one of the wonderful trees actually which we follow. And also this silk cotton, the cotton actually which comes from the fruits. In many of the tribal peoples, they use it to make pillows from the Bombax Siva. And this is one of the wonderful trees actually what we have seen now. Let us move on further actually. So you can see much more plant. So this is Maduka indica, and as you can see here, so the leaf here you can show. Yeah. So this is a simple leaf. As you can see, the simple leaf, as you can see here. They have individual leaf. So that's why it is a simple leaf. And the plant actually, when you pluck it, actually you see that when you pluck the leaf, you see milky latex which is coming out. So this is one of the characters of Sapotaceae. So Maduka indica. So one of the characters. So families, when you are plant identifying the plant. So there are many other characters other than the leaves which you can see. That is the production of the latex. So like Apocynaceae, Euphobiaceae, so Sapotaceae, all these have latex from which can be utilized. So this plant is Maduka indica. In Kannada, it is called as the hippe. So one beautiful character is the milky latex. What we see in that. So let us move on further. So this tree, as you focus on this tree. It's possible to show this tree. Okay. No, just let go further.
Yeah, it's focused. Okay, they have moved on. It's continuously raining, so it is a little challenging for us to shoot the video. Please bear with us for the handshake. So this is the type of habitat that you can see around here. This is just the beginning of the trail.
So another Western Ghats species what we can see here. So this is another Western Ghats tree species, and you can see clearly the simple leaves, as you can see, alternate. And this species is called Caesarea championi. So belongs to the family Flacaceaceae, and we can see this tree most of the Western Ghats area. So, and one thing actually why we are finding these trees here is because we are in the campus Banagata Swamiji campus actually. So where these many of the Western Ghats plants have been brought here and planted here, the Western Ghats species. So that's the one privilege we have here, so that many of the Western Ghats species we can see here. So this is the Caesarea champani species. So for family Flacaceaceae.
Okay, sir, could you briefly explain about the habitat type here as well?
Yeah, so here what we see, more or less the Bannerghatta comes under the dry deciduous zone. So if you go a little bit more from here, we see the original forest cover, which is dry deciduous forest, and that is the typical vegetation type what we see in the Bangalore. And Bangaloreans have that real privilege to visit the native forest. That is the nearby Bannerghatta. If you saw, Dodibetta is here, where you find the natural forest with the shorias and Anagesis latifolia and terminalias, all those which are very native to here. So this patch was earlier barren, and now it is vegetated with the Western Ghats for the sake of the students and many people who can come and learn here. So that is one thing actually which I am hearing some birds this one also. So if you can hear the voice and tell those bird, which is that bird actually, that would be also nice. Or else we can just continue further.
Okay, we can hear the call of the Tickles flowerpecker, or it's also called the pale-billed flowerpecker. I'm sure this camera I cannot focus the bird. However, I'll just give you like 10 minutes silence. So let's see if the camera can actually capture the sound. So I'm not sure if you are able to hear the call, because the trees are quite tall here, and the bird is somewhere at the top of the canopy. So that's why it's slightly difficult to hear. But if you have a Singapore cherry tree somewhere nearby to you, you are very likely to find the pale-bill flowerpecker if you are anywhere in Bangalore.
Yeah. So coming back, actually, another beautiful climber. This is Alophilus cobe. So Sapindaceae. Alophilus cobe is one very beautiful climber, which is also highly medicinal also. And this climber, as you can see, has a beautiful berries, fruits. and many of these fruits are eaten by birds and many other things, which makes it one of the very interesting species in Western Ghats area. So most of our central Western Ghats at least has good distribution of this Alophilus bobae, and this has been planted here as a Western Ghats species for the knowledge and usefulness of the many of the students. So this is one another interesting species what we find here. And as we see here, this is another species actually many of people recognize. This is Phyllanthus emblica. So Nelikai mara. So this Phyllanthus emblica is another very important species of Phyllanthus. Now earlier it was under Euphorbiaceae, now it is under Phyllanthus. And this we all know the gooseberries, how it is important as a pickle, as a medicine, and many other things. So that is one very interesting thing.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, right.
So these berries, are they edible?
No, actually, for human beings are not actually this one, but it can go for as a
Birds.
ecosystem service. Yeah, many of the birds and like that. So, but the plant itself is a highly medicinal
Okay.
plant, and that's how. So another very important plant actually, as you can see, which is also native to dry areas and also to some of parts of Western Ghats is this plant. This is the trifoliate leaves, as you can see here. So this plant is called as the Todalia asiatica. So Todalia asiatica, if you can just flick, this is having a spines here, so one has to be careful when plucking. So I just felt the prickle. So but if you flick the leaf and if you just smell it, can you
Wow.
smell actually? So you can just smell
I'm
it.
standing far away and I still can smell it.
You can
Very
just-
strong.
Yeah. So what is this type of smell? It is lemonish smell.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the character of Rutaceae. So most of the lemon family. So the Rutaceae. So that character actually is very much distinguished here, and beautiful plant actually, and beautiful smell, and the flowers are also nice. And most of the forest around Bangalore has this Todalia asiatica Rutaceae, and one can easily see the oil glands if you see. Look at the leaf under the light, actually, or sunlight, or you can see the oil glands also. So that is one another. So same family, another lemon actually you can see here is you can see the Rutaceae. So this one actually a citrus species actually, as you can see here. So this is also comes under the Rutaceae, and you can see the uh, the smell also. Actually, you can see the smell. Here, see the get the smell actually, lemon smell. So and yeah, so another beautiful tree actually here you can just see here is this. You can you just zoom the also after that zoom the bark. So rough bark you can see. So this is actually in Kannada called as the BD Mara. So BD Mara, that is Diasporus melanoxylon, if you can see. So this is a typical dry forest tree, so that the bark is also very rough because it grows in huge disturbed areas with lot of fire and everything. So Bangalore around surrounding deciduous forest has this type of tree, and this as you can see the leaves. These leaves are plucked actually. So this is plant tree is called as the Diasporus melanoxylon, and these leaves are plucked actually and rolled, dried and rolled and filled with tobacco, and is marketed as BDs. So all the Ganesh BDs and all those BDs which we get in the market, actually many of them are made from the leaves of this. And this is the common, the botanical name is Diasporus melanoxylon of the family Ebonaceae. So this is Ebonaceae is one of the very important evergreen species, evergreen forest family. But this particular Diasporus melanoxylon is adapted to dry area. So they like so many of the species like this Diasporus melanoxylon, Diasporus montana are adapted to dry zones, whereas the majority of the Diasporus are adapted to evergreen to semi-evergreen zones, which we'll see later. So this is how actually the plants have adapted in their course of evolution to different habitats. So just let us move on.
Sir, one moment. I also remember Chaturved telling us that the citrus family, this one plants are host plants to various butterflies. So I request Chaturved to kindly explain about a little about the host plant and what kind of butterflies might actually use the citrus fruits and how we can observe them. Over to you, Chaturved.
Yeah, as we got to know, this is a lime plant and lime variety. It is a host plant for many butterflies. As I said, all each and every butterflies have their own host plant, and specific butterflies lay eggs only at specific plants, and you can see those caterpillars will be very uniquely designed, and they are well camouflaged. Because it is heavily raining, we are not able to see any caterpillars. But all these broken leaf or cut leaves indicates that caterpillar is present and eating and feeding on these leaves. And it's a host plant for many butterflies.
See, when you see leaves like this,
This is actually another very interesting feature. This is unifoliate winged petiole.
yeah, yeah.
So the character of the leaf, actually, if you see, the petiole is winged actually. So it is one of the interesting features. So you can see the winged petiole. So unifoliate leaves, but you can see the compound leaf, but and it is called as unifoliate, but still the petiole is winged here. So you can see the actually every petiole of the leaf is winged. So that is one important character of this citrus family. And just around now, you can show
So this small part is what you are calling it
Yeah,
as the wing.
winged. Yeah, you can see the down. No, the stalk of the leaf is winged.
Here, okay.
Yeah, that is the important character actually. So that is the
Right,
important
right,
character.
wonderful. So if you have a citrus fruit plant anywhere around you, you can definitely look for caterpillars, and you can look for all these wonderful characteristics which were just explained. And there is a small butterfly here. I don't know if I can actually focus this. You can see the movement. Okay, there it is. Yeah.
Yes, it's a small grass yellow butterfly. You can see the color is yellow, and here it has settled down. Fly close to grass level, yellow in color. The name is common grass yellow.
Okay, wonderful.
Turn back to yeah. So more about plants actually, and another very interesting plant is this. Here. So the plant is Asparagus racemosus. As you can see here, the most finely needle-like leaves. As you can see, the leaves are needle-like leaves, but actually these are not leaves. Actually, these are cladodes. These are the modified stem, so which looks like leaves. So this is Asparagus racemosus of family Asparagaceae. So here, normally this type of adaptations happens where stem takes the properties of functions of leaves in order to conserve water. So this actually these are called as the cladodes, and this is one very important character of this Asparagus racemosus. It's normally found in many of the forest areas, and in Kannada it is called as the Halo Makkala Taya Beru, because actually it has a lot of tubers which is coming out, and this those roots are also highly medicinal. So this Asparagus racemosus itself is a highly medicinal plant. So and you can just focus on this tree, which is another Western Ghats species. And as you can see here, this tree. So this is another very important tree, and so the importance of this tree is actually this is Hopia parviflora. So this Hopia parviflora is another Western Ghats endemic species which is also endangered. So all the Dipterocarpaceae members, so either it may be Hopia parviflora, Hopia ponga, or Dipterocarpus indicus, which all belongs to the family Dipterocarpaceae. They are all primary forest species, and at the same time they are all endangered also. And this particular plant is a Western Ghats plant, and this Hopia parviflora, the very important character is actually the presence of the domaceae. So at the axils of the leaves, you can see small spots-like structure. Whether you can make it out, actually the small spot-like structures, and those are called as the domaceae. So this domaceae marks a very important character for this plant, and wherein actually if you look a leaf like this with a domaceae at the axil of the nerves along the sides of the midrib. So this is Hopia parviflora. I will show you later the Hopia ponga, which is a brother of this, but that doesn't have any domaceae like this, which is also another very important plant, actually a tree of Western Ghats. So let us move on. And
okay, sir, one moment.
Yeah.
Now the rain has increased significantly, and just wondering if you're wondering why myself and Chaturved are not talking, I request Chaturved to just explain why butterflies are not active when it is raining.
all insects are cold-blooded. Even butterflies are also cold-blooded, which means they want external temperature and they are dependent on sunlight. Because it is evening time and it is raining heavily, that is why we are not able to see any butterfly movement and their activities.
Thank you, Chaturved. And coming to birds, basically when it is raining, all these birds will find a nice spot in between the tree canopy and where the leaves are broad and thick, so that they don't get drenched and they can protect themselves from the cold. So they will be resting right now, and some of the birds which are really hungry, they will start looking for food, but very quietly, because there's no point in singing right now, as there's plenty of sound of the rain droplets falling into the leaves. So they would have to put extra efforts to make sure that they are heard by their mates or the potential mates. So that is why they are quiet, and sometimes we see movement of birds, which in this camera is a very difficult task to actually capture. So I think it's getting really difficult to shoot the video as well. So we will end the video here, and probably if it is possible, we will do a fieldwork in IISc, where we can take you to the mini forest there or the Jubilee Park, and then or anywhere in the campus where there's plenty of greenery and birds can be spotted there. So we can do a study there, and you can practically experience the wilderness that we are experiencing here. It's a lovely weather actually in the forest when it is raining, and we are just enjoying it. Too bad that you're all in the classroom. Okay, so anyway, thank you all for your time, and we would like to end the video here and walk back. So I thank you all, and let's do the fieldwork some other day. All the best to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
ಈಗ 15 minutes ಇದೆ. ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದೆ?